Welcome to Going Pro.
Welcome once more, Fancy.
Yeah.
The Expanse is a book series. I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head who the author is, but it's a 9-book series, and it's basically set in future, in the future. And it's based throughout our solar system. So Mars has been colonized, and hosts Martians, which are the Earth colonists from Earth, went to Mars, colonized it. Now they're Martians. So they're their own planet, doing their own thing. And then there's people called the Belters. And the Belters are basically anybody that's not on, I guess the Jupiter moons. A few of them have colonies on it, and so basically it's just a book about the political and social dynamics of Earth, Mars, and the Belters, and power control. And it follows this crew. So your hero figure is James Holden and his crew of 4 people.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Alex and Naomi and oh god, I can't even remember his name.
Yeah, it's bad. I can't remember the characters' names, but I know the character.
Yeah,
just the
Amos,
name escapes me.
Yeah, Amos is the character's name, but it follows them throughout their escapades and stuff. And yeah, it's Amazon picked it up and made it into a series.
Well, it used to be done by a Sci-Fi Channel, I think, and then they were thinking they're gonna cancel it, and then somehow, I haven't even heard of this happening, but Amazon was able to get the rights for it, so they are funding it now. But it's the same actors and everything as it had been.
Same actors, everything. They just, they're doing their thing, and it's pretty good. I went and read through all of the books, and I got down to the last book, and it doesn't come out until November. So I am really close to being able to finish up that series, and I'm also super excited to finish up the series because there's a lot that's going on.
Yeah, so I've had a bit of a different experience from ArLivet because I didn't really know it was a book series until I started watching the show. And the first 3 seasons of the show are excellent. I really recommend it. It's definitely worth watching. You can just binge the hell out of it right now on Amazon if you have Prime, and yeah, it's good.
I would definitely suggest doing that.
But I want to pick up the books now that I've heard from ArLivet that the books are really good too, and it sounds like the pace of the the way they've made the show, there's tons and tons of story left. I almost wonder if they're ever going to get to the end of it. Well, weren't you saying the end of the 3rd season was still in the 1st book or something like that, or maybe in the 2nd book?
It was in the 2nd book, I believe.
I hope it keeps building up more of a following so we can get more of it in show format.
I totally agree. And I think that, if it's a little much, but once you really the books, for me, I would say that the show is a little hard to follow because there's just a lot of stuff going on visually, and and they also started out strong, but it was still it kind of jumps back and forth. And in the books, you don't know exactly quite what's going to happen. It really does on the edge of your seat. The show is good. I have to say the show does follow the story of the book well, but it's just like there's so much stuff that, you know, is just kind of better explained in the book. So that's, my wife said that it was just a little hard to follow. Like sometimes we have to stop the show, and I have to kind of just get a little bit of a background of what's going on, and I have to be like, hey, kind of pay attention to this character because, you know, you might see them later. And that's another thing that definitely happens in the book is characters from the past do come back around.
Like the visual effects are actually quite impressive for a TV show.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
Like you've got all these like pretty epic looking space battles at times, and it's pretty sweet looking.
Yeah, so when Amazon took over, you can definitely tell that they had just a slight boost. They grabbed it, and they didn't exactly like start pouring money into it, obviously, but they were but you can tell as the show goes on that they did kind of start, you know, adding a little bit more production value to it.
Yeah, I think they got like better cameras and stuff. It just looks nicer now. The more recent seasons. And actually, I would say Manny's is one of the closest other beers to Mac and Jack's African Amber. Okay, maybe it's as close as Coke and Dr. Pepper. Is that a...
I would say that's a better comparison, yeah.
Yeah, so up against like Terran versus Terran, Reapers do really well.
I'm going to tech, and I'm going to get Hellbats. Since
good call.
I was up against Zerglings. That's just a good unit. Hellbats with the pre-igniter research. F3, and then toggle the...
Oh, yeah, okay. This is what comes up for F3. Yeah, toggle stuff on and off. That's a big thing in Direct Strike. Like, sometimes you'll build up this big army to counter what you're fighting, but then your teammate leaks a whole bunch of stuff, and they're unable to fight off their wave. And so suddenly you're fighting this completely different army from what you like set up to counter, and it becomes a really difficult situation, really. Looks like our teammate's doing decent. He's not countering the air. That's one thing I feel like I've made the mistake of playing ladder as well. Like being a little bit stubborn in like immediately going to the counter to what the other player's doing. And I think partly it's because like a lot of games I'll start out with kind of a plan of what I want to get. But if I have that plan and I'm just a little bit stubborn about countering what the other player's doing, then it actually becomes kind of a problem.
See, and this right here, this chat, you know, we weren't doing well in the beginning. We found, you know, their weakness and we're exploiting it. Yeah, we're not doing great, but we're pushing them back, and our teammate also has a good feeling about it. Be good to your teammates. Don't talk shit.
One tip that I would say is even if you don't agree with what your teammate is saying, you might consider just like following what they say a little bit just to keep them in the game. Because as soon as they quit, you're at a huge disadvantage. Just keeping up morale on the team is important. Oh, so close.
This is it.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Lag.
Yeah, right. Dude, our teammate sucked. What the hell? Why was he talking so much shit?
That's the other thing. Like, people think they know this game, and then it comes down to stats, and it turns out you don't know this game.
Yeah, this guy was talking way too much for his skill level.
It's a delicate balance between like trying to keep your teammate because they think that they know what's up, but if they get too pissed off this game, they just fucking quit, you know? I'll 1v1 you any day. Even though the last 1v1, do you remember that? Do you remember that? I was just like...
But those are, just my opinion, those are the best scenarios ever online. Like when you're playing games, somebody's talking trash, especially in a strategy game, and they're like, oh, you're just such a piece of shit. Like, let's 1v1 after this. Like... I'll prove my point. And like, oh man,
dude, I remember
the best. The song of the day is Wolf Black Wildfire. Thank you to everybody that joined us.
Have a good night.